Hi guys, right, so today I'm going to speak about, right, saturation and how do you get a bass guitar to sit more proud in a mix, sit better with drums without affecting the EQ of your bass. Normally a lot of people would say, no, I want the bass to sit more proud in the mix, and you'll start mucking about with EQ. Then when you start mucking about with EQ, you then find that the balance of the track is out. So how do you make your bass sit prouder in a mix? Really easy. Saturation. So you have different types of saturation. I use all three for my bass. You could easily just use one. So first off, you have tape. So tape is a really clever way of adding character, warmth and punch to a mix, but it can also help to glue things together as well. So obviously I'm not going to go into tape. You know what tape is. If you want to look into tape, then again you can go into Google. So I prefer to use the J37, which was what the Beatles used on Abbey Road. The Kramer tape's good, but it's more of an effect, and it works to taste. This is kind of more of an all-rounder. So again, I will play the bass with and without, just so you can hear what the tape's doing, okay? Right, so hopefully what you can hear there, again it's subtle, but to me it kind of blended the bass together, and it sounded more round to me, in my opinion, and it kind of just gave it a little bit of glue that was missing, and I think in a mix that's going to help it sound a little bit more consistent. I think it kind of glued the bass, the mids and the highs, and it just glued it all together. So I like that, and again what I'll do is I'll play it with drums as well, so you guys can hear what it's going to do. So again, I'll play it with drums this time, and I'll play the J37 in and out, in and out. Right, so hopefully what you guys can hear there with the bass, with the drums included, is that the bass wasn't fighting as hard to sit in better with the drums. I just felt that it was a little bit more prominent, it was a little bit more warmer, a little bit more thicker, a little bit more rounder, and it was like without it, it was fighting to kind of, it was fighting against the drums, and now I feel like it sits really proud and it's kind of glued in with the drums. So tape's a really good thing you could use. Then you've got this thing here. I've used it on other videos. It's unbelievable. So again, you're thinking more about like tube saturation. So I think you've got two types of tube saturation. So if you think about you want something to blend into a mix, so again you've got saturation that can act as a glue. This to me is the best glue that you're going to find, and it does it in a really nice subtle way, but without, I'm not going to bore you, right? I'll just play it and just listen to what it does, right? Just listen to the roundness of the bass. And again, every time you add another element in, it's not fighting as hard against the drums, and it just sits better in the mix. Now let's get in with some drums. So again, it's with every step, the bass is sitting and gluing more in with the drums. What I like about the Vertigo is it makes the low end tighter and rounder, and again, that bass is not fighting as hard against the drums, and it's tighter and it's thicker, and it's, I think round is the right word for this. So you've got your tape, you've got your saturation that can kind of help glue something to a mix. Then you've got tube saturation that gives impact. So you've got stuff like Soft Tube, they do a really good one. Or you've got the Black Box. The Black Box is one of the best out there. I use it on snare. It's crazy on snare. So just listen to what this does. So I've got it on an aggro bass guitar. So the whole point of the Black Box is to make things more dynamic. So it's using saturation to give you more punch and to make it kind of burst out the speakers a little bit more. So this to me is the last element of the chain. So again, you've got three different things. You've got tape, you've got what I would call glue saturation, and then you've got impact saturation. So think about more dynamic saturation. So again, listen without drums what it's doing to the bass. Now, do you hear what it did to the sub in the bass, and that kind of low end saturation? Again, it's making the bass rounder and more consistent, but it added this really nice low subharmonic kind of saturation at the bottom that made the low end tighter and just ring out a little bit more. So let's hear it with the drums, and to me this is where you're going to hear the biggest difference. So there you go. Hear the roundness in the bottom end. And again, that's me layering 3 different types of saturation, but it's unbelievable. So I'll play it one last time, and what I'll do is I'll take all 3 of them out and then bring them back in so you can hear what it's doing in the mix to help the bass sit better in with the drums. So hopefully you guys can hear the quality that's given to the bass. It's made the bass more round, overall more consistent, and it glues better to the drums, and most importantly the bass isn't fighting as hard against the drums, and tonally the drums are still in the mix, they're still punching away, and the bass isn't getting in too much. So hopefully that's been good for you guys, and that's been a little lesson on saturation and the different types of saturation that you can use on bass to help your basses sit more kind of proud in a mix and kind of glue together. So if you've liked this video, please again as always like and subscribe so you can see all the other mixing tutorials that I'm going to put up. I'll put up a little link to my mixing playlist as well, and if you like those videos, this video, check out those videos as well. So thank you very much for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video.